Captain Minho Kim was drinking his morning coffee when the alarm started screaming. The hot liquid burned his tongue as he jumped up from his desk. Outside the window of Unity Station, space looked different. Very different. Where yesterday there had been empty black space dotted with stars, now there were ships. Huge ships. Ships so big that they blocked out entire sections of the starfield. Minho had never seen anything like them. Captain. His communication officer, Ji-Ho Lee, ran into the room. The young man's face was white with fear. "Sir, we're getting a transmission." It's not from any human ship." Minho set down his coffee cup. His hands were steady, but his heart was beating fast. "Put it through." The main screen flickered to life. What appeared on it made everyone in the room take a step back. The creature on the screen was tall and thin, with blue-gray skin and 4 arms. Its eyes were completely black, and when it spoke, its voice sounded like grinding metal. "I am Admiral Kale of the Vorthak Empire," the alien said. "I speak for the Galactic Confederation. You are the species called humans." It was not a question. Minho cleared his throat. "Yes, I am Captain Minho Kim of the Earth Defense Force. This is Unity Station." The alien's face did not change. "Your species has been observed. You have spread beyond your home system. You have built colonies. You have claimed territory that does not belong to you. This cannot continue." Dr. Unipark, who had been studying alien languages for 10 years even though no one believed aliens existed, stepped forward. She was a small woman with bright eyes, and she was shaking with excitement despite the obvious danger. "This is amazing," she whispered to Minho. "First contact. We're actually talking to aliens." Admiral Kale continued speaking. "The Galactic Confederation has watched many species like yours. Species that spread too fast. Species that take what they want without asking. We know how this story ends. How does it end?" Minho asked, though he was afraid he already knew the answer. "Badly," Admiral Kale said. "For you, we give you one choice. Stop your expansion. Return to your home system. Never leave it again." "And if we don't?" Dr. Park asked. The alien's black eyes seemed to get darker. "Then we will end your species completely, forever. We have done this before. Many times. We are very good at it." The room was completely quiet. Everyone was staring at the screen. Minho felt like he was in a bad dream. "How long do we have?" he asked. 72 hours, Admiral Kale said. "When that time is over, if you have not agreed to our terms, we will begin the termination process. Your planets will burn. Your ships will be destroyed. Your people will die. All of them." The transmission ended. The screen went black. For a long moment, nobody moved. "Sir," Ji-Ho said quietly. "What do we do?" Minho looked around the room. These people were looking at him for answers, but he didn't have any. How do you fight ships that big? How do you argue with aliens who could destroy entire planets? Dr. Park was typing furiously on her tablet. "I need to contact Earth immediately," she said. "The President needs to know. The UN needs to know. Everyone needs to know." "What's the point?" asked Commander Nari-O, who had just arrived from the docking bay. She was a tough woman who had served in 3 different space conflicts. "Did you see those ships? We can't fight them. Our biggest warship would look like a toy next to one of their small fighters. So what do you suggest?" Minho asked. Nari shrugged. "We could run. Take as many people as we can and head for the outer systems. Maybe some of us could survive." "Run where?" Dr. Park asked. "They have faster ships. They probably have better sensors. If they want to find us, they'll find us." Ji-Ho was still staring at the blank screen. 72 hours, he said. "That means they'll attack on Monday." "Monday?" Minho asked. "Yes, sir. If we count from now, 72 hours from now will be Monday morning Earth time." Dr. Park looked up from her tablet. "That's actually interesting. They gave us exactly 72 hours. Not 3 days. Not until the end of the week. Exactly 72 hours. What difference does it make?" Commander O asked. "Maybe none," Dr. Park said. "But it tells us something about how they think. They're very precise. Very exact. They probably do everything by rules and schedules." More people were arriving at the command center. Word was spreading fast through the station. Everyone wanted to know what was happening. The alien ships were visible from every window, impossible to ignore. "Captain," one of the technicians said, "we're getting calls from everywhere. Earth, Mars, the asteroid mining stations. Everyone can see the ships. Everyone wants to know what's going on." Minho rubbed his forehead. He was getting a headache. "Send out a general message. Tell everyone what Admiral Kale told us. Tell them we have 72 hours to decide. Decide what? The technician asked. Whether to give up and hide in our own solar system forever, Minho said, or die fighting. Dr. Park was still working on her tablet. I'm sending everything we recorded to Earth. The language patterns, the visual data, everything. Maybe our scientists can learn something useful. In 72 hours? Commander O asked. What could we possibly learn that would help us fight those ships? Maybe we don't need to fight them, Dr. Park said quietly. Maybe there's another way. Like what? I don't know yet. But Admiral Kale said they've done this before, to other species. That means other species have faced the same choice we're facing now. And they all died, Commander O pointed out. Yes, but why? Did they all choose to fight? Did any of them try to negotiate? Did any of them try something different? Minho looked out the window at the alien ships. They hung in space like dark clouds, silent and threatening. He thought about his family on Earth, his parents, his sister, his young nephew who wanted to be a space captain when he grew up. Jiho, he said, send a message to Admiral Kale. Tell him we received his ultimatum. Tell him we need time to discuss it with our government. What should I say about the 72 hours? Minho thought about it. Tell him. Tell him we understand the time limit. As Jiho worked on the message, Dr. Park came over to Minho. Captain, I think we should be very careful about how we respond to them. Every word we say, every action we take, they'll be watching and judging. What do you think they expect us to do? Based on what Admiral Kale said, I think they expect us to either surrender immediately or start preparing for war. They've probably seen both responses many times before. So we should do neither. Dr. Park smiled for the first time since the aliens had appeared. Maybe we should do something they've never seen before. Like what? I'm not sure yet, but I have an idea. It might sound crazy. Before she could explain, Jiho called out, Message sent, sir, and, sir? I added something at the end. What did you add? Jiho looked embarrassed. I told them that Monday is really inconvenient for us. I asked if Tuesday would be better. The room went completely silent. Everyone stared at Jiho. You did what? Commander O asked. I just thought, Monday is the start of the work week. If we're all going to die, wouldn't Tuesday be more convenient? People could get their affairs in order over the weekend. Dr. Park started laughing. She laughed so hard that tears came to her eyes. Jiho, she said, that might be the most brilliant thing anyone has ever done. President Sora Choi was in her pajamas when the emergency call came through. It was 3 a.m. in Seoul, and she had been having a very nice dream about her grandmother's cooking. Now she was sitting in the underground situation room, looking at pictures of alien warships that could destroy planets. How many ships? She asked. At least 200 that we can count, General Taewon Park answered. Maybe more. They're spread out across the entire solar system. Earth, Mars, the asteroid belt, even near Jupiter. And they want us to stay in our own solar system forever? That's what they said. No more colonies outside of Seoul. No more exploration. If we agree, they leave us alone. If we don't... The general didn't finish the sentence. President Choi rubbed her eyes. She had been president for 3 years, and she had dealt with many crises. Economic problems, natural disasters, political troubles, but never anything like this. What are our military options? She asked. None, the general said bluntly. Our biggest warship has weapons that might damage their paint. Maybe. So we surrender or we die. Those seem to be the choices. Dr. Yuna Park's voice came through the video link from Unity Station. Madam President, there might be a third option. I'm listening. The aliens expect us to react like the other species they've destroyed. But what if we don't? What if we do something completely unexpected? Such as? Dr. Park smiled. What if we treat this like a customer service issue? The room was quiet for a moment. Then President Choi started laughing. Explain that. Think about it, Dr. Park said. They gave us 72 hours notice. They have a specific procedure they follow. They probably have forms to fill out and reports to write. What if we respond like we're dealing with a very large, very dangerous company that's trying to cancel our service? General Park looked confused. I don't understand. We ask questions, Dr. Park explained. We request clarification. We ask to speak to their manager. We ask about their cancellation policy. We treat them like any other business transaction. President Choi was still smiling. And how does that help us? It buys us time. And more importantly, it confuses them. They're probably used to species that beg for mercy or threaten revenge. They're not used to species that ask about their customer satisfaction ratings. This is insane, General Park said. Maybe, President Choi said, but everything else we could try is definitely hopeless. At least this is creative. She turned to her communication staff. I want to speak to all the world leaders in 1 hour. Emergency session. While the president prepared for her calls, Captain Minho Kim was dealing with the response to Jiho's message. The young communication officer was sitting at his desk, staring at his screen with a very worried expression. Captain, Jiho said, I think I made a mistake. What kind of mistake? Well, I sent that message asking if Tuesday would be better than Monday. And now we're getting responses. Lots of responses. From the aliens? No, sir. From humans everywhere. Minho looked at Jiho's screen. There were thousands of messages coming in from all over the solar system. From Earth, from Mars, from the space stations, from the colony ships. What are they saying? Jiho scrolled through the messages. People heard about the Tuesday thing, and now they're sending their own messages to the aliens. Look at this one. Dear Alien Death Fleet, Tuesday works better for me too. Could you also provide lunch? I don't want to die hungry. And this one. If you're going to kill everyone on Tuesday, could you start with my neighbor? He plays music too loud. More messages were coming in every second. Minho read them over Jiho's shoulder, and he couldn't believe what he was seeing. From Earth. Dear aliens, thank you for the advance notice. Most exterminators don't give you 72 hours. Very professional. Could you provide references from your previous termination jobs? From Mars Colony. Hi there. We're very excited to meet you even though you're planning to kill us. Could we get autographs first? This is our first alien contact. From Asteroid Station 7, Tuesday is good for us. Wednesday would be even better. We have a big poker game on Tuesday night and it would be sad to die before we find out who wins. Sir, Jiho said, there are thousands of these, and they're all being broadcast on public frequencies. The aliens can see all of them. Commander Nario walked into the communication center. Captain, we've got a problem. Or maybe not a problem. I can't tell. What is it? People are getting ready for Tuesday. Getting ready how? Come see for yourself. Minho followed Commander O to the observation deck. What he saw outside made him stop and stare. Human ships were moving. Not military ships running away or getting ready to fight. Civilian ships, cargo ships, passenger ships, tourist ships, and they were all moving toward the alien fleet. What are they doing? Minho asked. Near as I can figure, Commander O said. They're going to welcome the aliens. Look at that passenger liner. They've painted Welcome to Earth on the side in letters 50 meters tall. Dr. Park joined them at the window. This is remarkable, she said. Instead of panicking, humans are treating this like the most exciting thing that's ever happened. They're going to get themselves killed, Minho said. Maybe. Or maybe they're doing exactly the right thing. On the communication channel, more messages were coming in. Dear Galactic Confederation, we're throwing a goodbye party for our species on Monday night. You're invited. We'll provide food and drinks. Do you dance? Hello, Admiral Kale. My daughter wants to know if you have any children. She's very curious about alien families. She drew you a picture. It's attached. Greetings, Death Fleet. We've prepared a gift basket for you. It has chocolate, coffee, and a guidebook to Earth's best tourist spots, just in case you want to visit them before you blow them up. President Choi's emergency meeting with world leaders was unlike any meeting in history. Instead of panic and desperate military planning, the leaders found themselves discussing the strangest response to an invasion threat ever recorded. The people are actually excited, reported the Prime Minister of Japan. Social media is full of alien contact memes. Everyone wants to meet them. My people are planning welcome parties, said the President of Brazil. They're treating Tuesday like a holiday. This is madness, said the Prime Minister of the UK. We should be evacuating people, not throwing parties. Evacuating to where? President Choi asked. The aliens have ships everywhere. There's nowhere to run. Dr. Park's voice came through the communication link again. Madam President, I think we should make this official. Make what official? The welcoming. If individual humans are already doing it, maybe we should coordinate it. Make it a proper first contact event, even though they're planning to kill us, especially because they're planning to kill us. Think about it. When will we ever get another chance to make a first impression on aliens? General Park shook his head. This is the most insane military strategy I've ever heard of. It's not a military strategy, Dr. Park corrected. It's a social strategy. We can't beat them with weapons, but maybe we can confuse them with friendliness. President Choi thought about it. Outside, she knew that millions of people were already putting the plan into action without any official approval. They were making signs, preparing food, sending friendly messages to creatures who had promised to destroy them. All right, she said finally. Let's make it official. Dr. Park, I'm putting you in charge of humanity's first contact protocol. Your job is to make sure that when we die on Tuesday, we die as the friendliest species in the galaxy. What if we don't die? Dr. Park asked. President Choi smiled. Then we'll have made some very interesting new friends. Back on Unity Station, Admiral Kale's response finally came through. Jiho read it out loud to the command staff. He says, and I quote, "The termination schedule is not negotiable. Monday remains the deadline. Prepare for extinction. That's it?" Dr. Park asked, "That's it." Very short message, Dr. Park nodded thoughtfully. He didn't answer the question about Tuesday, and he didn't comment on any of the other messages. I think we're confusing him. Good, Minho said. Let's confuse him more. Admiral Kale had destroyed 47 different species in his long career. He knew exactly how these situations were supposed to go. The inferior species would either surrender immediately and accept their fate, or they would make desperate threats and prepare for a hopeless war. Both responses were predictable and easy to handle. This was not going according to plan. "Admiral," his communication officer said, "we're receiving another 1,000 messages from the humans." "Delete them," Admiral Kale ordered. "Sir, I think you should see these ones." Admiral Kale looked at the screen. The latest message was from something called Earth's Official Welcome Committee. It read, "Dear Admiral Kale, we've prepared a reception for you and your fleet. We have food, music, and gift bags. Please let us know if you have any dietary restrictions. Also, do any of your crew members collect stamps? We have some really nice ones. What does this mean?" Admiral Kale asked. "I don't know, sir. But there are more." The next message was from a group of human children. "Hi, Mr. Alien Admiral. We made you cookies. They're chocolate chip. We hope you like them. Please don't kill us until after snack time." Another message read, "Galactic Confederation Customer Service. We're having trouble understanding your termination policy. Could you send us your terms and conditions? Also, do you offer payment plans for not being extinct?" Admiral Kale had never seen anything like this. In his experience, species facing extinction either begged for mercy or screamed threats. They didn't ask about dietary restrictions and payment plans. "Sir," his second-in-command said, "we're also detecting unusual movement from the human vessels." "Are they retreating? Attacking?" "Neither, sir. They appear to be approaching us." Admiral Kale looked at the tactical display. Human ships were moving toward his fleet from every direction. But they weren't military ships. They were civilian vessels, cargo haulers, passenger liners, and they were broadcasting welcome messages on every frequency. "This makes no sense," Admiral Kale muttered. "Are they trying to surrender?" "I don't think so, sir. They're sending us their cultural databases. Music, art, literature, food recipes. One ship is broadcasting what they call Earth's greatest hits directly at our hull." On the bridge of the passenger liner Friendship, Captain Yoonji Han was having the time of her life. She had always dreamed of meeting aliens, and the fact that these particular aliens were planning to kill everyone didn't dampen her enthusiasm much. "Can you see them yet?" asked her first officer, Dae-ho Shin. "Not clearly," Yoonji said, looking through the telescope. "But those ships are incredible. The engineering must be amazing. I wonder how their life support systems work." "Captain, they're trying to kill us." "I know. Isn't it exciting? When will we ever get another chance like this?" Yoonji had loaded her ship with volunteers from Earth. Scientists, artists, teachers, and just regular people who wanted to meet aliens before dying. They had prepared welcome gifts, cultural presentations, and enough food to feed a small army. "This is Captain Yoonji Han of the Earth vessel Friendship," she broadcast to the alien fleet. "We're approaching your ship, the big scary one with all the weapons. We come in peace, and we brought snacks." On his command ship, Admiral Kale was receiving reports from all across his fleet. Every single ship was being approached by humans, and every single human was acting like this was the best day of their lives. "Admiral," his weapons officer said. The humans are broadcasting entertainment programs at us. Music, comedy shows, something called cat videos. They say it's to help us pass the time while we prepare to kill them. This is psychological warfare, Admiral Kale decided. They're trying to confuse us with their strange behavior. Sir, I don't think it's warfare. They seem genuinely happy to meet us. That's impossible. We told them we're going to destroy their species. Yes, sir. They sent us a thank you note for the advance warning. Admiral Kale contacted the Confederation Council. The council was made up of the oldest and wisest beings in the galaxy. They had overseen thousands of terminations. Surely they would know what to do. Council Leader Vorthon, Admiral Kale said when the connection was established, I need guidance. The ancient alien's image appeared on the screen. Admiral Kale, how goes the human termination? That's the problem, sir. It's not going. Explain. The humans are not responding according to protocol. They're not surrendering and they're not fighting. They're welcoming us. There was a long pause. Welcoming you? Yes, sir. They're treating our arrival like some kind of celebration. They're sending us gifts and asking if we want to be friends. Perhaps they don't understand the situation. Make the threat clearer. I've tried that, sir. They understand perfectly. They just don't seem to care. They're more excited about meeting aliens than worried about dying. Another pause, even longer. Admiral, in 10,000 years of Confederation enforcement, no species has ever responded this way. I know, sir. What should I do? Follow protocol. Give them the full 72 hours, then begin termination as scheduled. The connection ended. Admiral Kale felt like he was walking into a trap, but he couldn't figure out what kind of trap it was. Meanwhile, on Earth, a blogger named Hyun Woo was becoming famous across the galaxy. His blog post about the alien invasion had been translated into dozens of languages and was being read by species throughout the Confederation. Day 2 of alien invasion, he wrote, still super excited to meet them. Made a checklist for tomorrow. 1. Clean my apartment. Aliens might want to see human living spaces. Tourist delete browser history. Some things are too embarrassing even for aliens. 3. Practice my alien greeting. I learned to say hello in 17 different galactic languages. 4. Set up auto-reply email. Sorry, currently being exterminated by aliens. Will respond when reincarnated. The post went viral, not just among humans but among aliens throughout the galaxy. They had never seen a species treat impending extinction like a minor inconvenience. On the research vessel Curiosity, Commander Nari O was conducting what she called pre-termination interviews with the alien fleet. She had sent detailed questionnaires to every ship, asking about their weapons, their culture, their favorite foods, and whether they wanted to participate in a cultural exchange program. This is Commander Nario calling Vorthak Death Ship number 7, she broadcast. We got your weapons specifications. Very impressive firepower. Could you tell us more about your shield technology? Also, we're having a potluck dinner tonight. Would any of your crew like to join us? The response came back 20 minutes later. This is Vorthak Death Ship number 7. Why are you not afraid? Oh, we are afraid, Nari replied cheerfully. We're absolutely terrified. But we're also fascinated. This is the most interesting thing that's ever happened to us. Fear and excitement aren't mutually exclusive, you know. Another pause. Then yeah, we do not understand. That's okay. We don't understand you either. That's what makes it so exciting. We have so much to learn from each other. We are here to destroy you. We know. It's terrible and wonderful at the same time. Could you tell us more about how you plan to do it? We're very curious about the technical details. Dr. Una Park was monitoring all these communications from Unity Station. She was taking detailed notes on every alien response, building a psychological profile of their species. They're confused, she told Captain Minho Kim. They have a very rigid protocol for these situations, and we're not following the script. Is that good or bad? I'm not sure yet, but it's definitely working. They expected us to react with fear and desperation. Instead, we're reacting with curiosity and hospitality. It's breaking their entire understanding of how inferior species are supposed to behave. So what happens next? Dr. Park smiled. Now we find out if aliens can learn new things about themselves. On the Confederation Council Station, emergency meetings were being held. Reports were coming in from across the galaxy about the strange human response. Other species were watching with fascination as humans treated their own extinction like a cultural festival. This could be dangerous, Council Leader Vorthon said to his advisors. If other species see that the humans are not afraid, they might start to question our authority. Should we accelerate the termination? Asked another council member. No, that would look like panic. We must follow protocol, but we need to study these humans more carefully. Their behavior is unprecedented. What if they're more advanced than they appear? What if this is some kind of sophisticated psychological warfare? That's possible. But their technology is primitive. Their weapons are useless against us. If this is warfare, it's unlike any we've seen before. Back on Earth, the countdown to Monday continued. But instead of preparing for war or surrendering in despair, humans were doing something that had never been done in galactic history. They were throwing a party for their own exterminators. And the aliens, despite themselves, were starting to wonder if maybe they should attend. Sunday night arrived faster than anyone expected. All across the solar system, humans were having what they called last night parties. But these weren't sad goodbye gatherings. They were celebration parties, welcoming parties for the aliens who were planning to kill them the next day. On Unity Station, Dr. Una Park was working late in her lab. She had spent the last 3 days studying every communication from the aliens, looking for patterns, for clues about how they thought and what they felt. Captain Kim, she called as Minho walked past her door. I think I figured something out. Minho came into the lab. Dr. Park had charts and graphs covering every wall. Alien language patterns, response times, communication frequencies. It looked like the workspace of someone who had been working without sleep for days. What did you find? He asked. The aliens are scared, she said. Scared? They have ships that can destroy planets. What could they be scared of? Dr. Park pointed to her charts. Look at their response patterns. At first, their messages were short and official. Standard termination protocol. But as more humans started contacting them, their messages got longer, more detailed. They started asking questions. What kind of questions? Why are you not afraid? Why do you want to meet us? What is the purpose of your gifts? These aren't the questions of a confident predator. These are the questions of someone who's confused and maybe a little worried. Minho studied the charts. So what does that mean? I think it means they've never met a species like us before. Every other species they destroyed probably reacted with fear or anger. But we're reacting with curiosity and friendship. It's breaking their understanding of how the universe works. That still doesn't stop them from killing us tomorrow. Maybe not, but it might make them hesitate. And if they hesitate long enough, we might be able to show them something they've never seen before. Which is, Dr. Park smiled. That being different doesn't have to mean being dangerous. Across the solar system, Captain Yoonji Han had managed to get her ship right next to one of the smaller alien vessels. The alien ship was sleek and dark with weapons that could vaporize her little passenger liner in seconds. But Yoonji wasn't thinking about the weapons. Look at those hull markings, she said to her crew. They're beautiful. It's like alien art. Captain, her first officer Deho said, they're trying to contact us. Put them through. The alien face that appeared on the screen was different from Admiral Kale. This one was younger, with lighter blue skin and only 2 arms. It looked nervous. Human vessel, the alien said. You are too close. Move away or you will be destroyed. Hi there, Yoonji said cheerfully. I'm Captain Yoonji Han. What's your name? The alien blinked its large black eyes. My name? Yes. We'd like to know what to call you. We're neighbors now, at least for tonight. I am Sub-Commander Zeth of the Vorthak 3rd Fleet. Nice to meet you, Zeth. We brought you some things. Food, music, pictures of Earth. Would you like to see them? Sub-Commander Zeth looked confused. You wish to give us gifts? Before we destroy you? Of course. It's a human tradition. When someone visits, even if they're planning to kill you, you offer them hospitality. This tradition makes no sense. Lots of human traditions don't make sense, Yoonji agreed. But they make us happy. And making friends makes us happy too, even if we're only friends for one night. Sub-Commander Zeth was quiet for a long moment. Then he said something that surprised everyone. What kind of food did you bring? On Earth, a 10-year-old girl named Minji had become famous. She had sent a personal message to Admiral Kale that was now being broadcast across the galaxy. In the message, she was holding a drawing she had made of aliens and humans holding hands. Dear Mr. Alien Admiral, she said in the video, my mom says you're going to make all the humans go away tomorrow. That makes me sad, but I understand if you have to do your job. I drew you a picture of what I think aliens and humans could be like if we were friends. Maybe in your next life and my next life we can be friends then. Thank you for letting us know ahead of time. It was very polite. Love, Minji. The video had been seen by billions of beings across the galaxy. Even some of the alien crew members had watched it. It was having an effect that no one had expected. On Admiral Kale's command ship, the crew was having discussions that had never happened on a Confederation vessel before. Admiral, his tactical officer said during the evening briefing, the crew is asking questions. What kind of questions? About the mission, sir. About why we're terminating this species. Admiral Kale's forearms tensed. We terminate them because they are expansionist and aggressive. Because they will become a threat to galactic stability. Yes, sir, but the crew has been monitoring human communications. The humans don't seem very aggressive. They have spread beyond their home system. Yes, sir, but so have we. So have most spacefaring species. The humans seem to explore for curiosity, not conquest. Admiral Kale looked around the room. His officers, trained warriors who had participated in dozens of terminations, were all looking at him with uncertain expressions. Are you questioning the wisdom of the Confederation Council? He asked. No, sir, the tactical officer said quickly. It's just... This feels different. Different how? The humans are not trying to fight us or hide from us. They're trying to understand us. They ask about our culture, our technology, our families. No species has ever asked me if I have children before. And do you? Admiral Kale asked. Yes, sir. 3 younglings back on Vorthak Prime. The humans sent me pictures of their children and asked if I wanted to share pictures of mine. Admiral Kale realized that something unprecedented was happening. His crew, hardened warriors trained for extermination, were developing personal connections with their targets. Sir, another officer said, we've received 17,000 personal messages from humans. Most of them are just saying hello and asking about our lives. Some are sharing stories about their families, their hopes, their dreams. Delete them all. Sir, some of the crew have already responded. They're having conversations. Admiral Kale felt something he had never felt before during a termination mission. Doubt. Back on Unity Station, Jiho was monitoring all the communications between humans and aliens. What he was seeing was remarkable. Dr. Park, he called. You need to see this. Dr. Park came over to his station. On the screen were dozens of conversations happening between individual humans and individual aliens. Not official military communications, but personal talks between people who had never met. Look at this one, Jiho said. A human teacher is talking to an alien engineer. They're comparing notes on how to explain complicated concepts to young people. Another conversation showed a human farmer talking to an alien botanist about growing food in different environments. This is incredible, Dr. Park said. They're finding common ground. Professional interests, shared problems, similar experiences. And look at this, Jiho continued. This alien officer sent a picture of his family to a human mother. She sent back pictures of her children. They're comparing notes on parenting. Dr. Park realized that something extraordinary was happening. 2 completely different species who had never met before were discovering that they had more in common than anyone had expected. Captain Kim, she called, you need to see this. The aliens and humans are becoming friends. Minho came over and looked at the conversations. This is what you were hoping for, isn't it? Actually, this is better than what I was hoping for. I thought we might confuse them or delay them. I never imagined they would start to care about us as individuals. So what happens tomorrow? Dr. Park looked at all the conversations happening between humans and aliens. Thousands of personal connections being made between people who were supposed to be enemies. I think, she said slowly, that Admiral Kale is about to face the hardest decision of his career. How do you kill people you've gotten to know personally? On his command ship, Admiral Kale was staring at reports from across his fleet. The same thing was happening on every ship. His crew members were talking to humans, sharing stories, learning about each other's lives. Sir, his communication officer said, we have a problem. Another one. The humans are asking if they can visit our ships. They want to meet us in person before tomorrow. Admiral Kale closed his eyes. In 47 previous terminations, this had never happened. The species they destroyed were always strangers. Distant, faceless enemies who remained abstract until the end. But these humans had faces. They had names. They had children and dreams and hopes. They had made his crew laugh with their jokes and touched their hearts with their kindness. How do you destroy a species that your own soldiers have begun to care about? Admiral Kale realized that Monday was going to be very different from what anyone had planned. Monday morning arrived with the strangest scene in galactic history. Instead of a battle between a massive alien fleet and desperate human defenders, space around Earth looked like the biggest welcome party ever held. Thousands of human ships surrounded the alien fleet. Not warships, but civilian vessels covered in welcome signs, broadcasting music and friendly messages. Some had painted flowers on their hulls. Others were flashing lights in patterns that spelled out, "Hello and welcome to Earth" in dozens of languages. Admiral Kale stood on his command bridge, looking out at the human ships. His orders were clear. At exactly 800 Earth time, he was to begin the termination sequence. Planet killers would fire, human worlds would burn, and another species would be removed from the galaxy. But something was wrong. His crew was unusually quiet. No one was making the final preparations for termination. Instead, they were all looking out the windows at the human ships. "Admiral," his tactical officer said quietly, "we're receiving a transmission from the human child." "What child?" "The one who sent you the drawing. Minji. She's calling you directly." Admiral Kale wanted to ignore it, but somehow he couldn't. "Put it through." The little human girl appeared on the screen. She was wearing a yellow dress and holding a stuffed animal that looked like some kind of earth creature. "Hi, Mr. Admiral Kale," she said with a big smile. "Today's the day, right? I wanted to say goodbye before you make us all go away. Thank you for being nice about it and giving us time to get ready." Admiral Kale stared at the child. In 47 terminations, he had never spoken directly to one of the beings he was about to destroy. They were always just numbers and reports, statistics to be filed away. "Child," he said, his voice rougher than usual, "do you understand what is going to happen?" "Uh-huh. You're going to make all the humans disappear because we spread out too much and that makes the galaxy nervous. My mom explained it to me. It's like when I take up too much space on the playground and the teacher has to make me sit down. And you're not afraid?" Minji thought about it seriously. "I'm a little scared. But I'm also excited because I got to meet a real alien, even if it's only for a little while. And maybe after we're gone, you'll remember us and think nice thoughts sometimes." Admiral Kale felt something break inside his chest. This child, facing extinction, was worried about whether he would have nice memories of her species. "Time to termination," his weapons officer announced. 10 minutes. Admiral Kale looked around his bridge. His officers were all watching him, waiting for orders. But their expressions were not the usual eager anticipation of battle. They looked troubled, uncertain. "Sir," his communication officer said, "we're getting calls from all across the fleet. The crew, they're asking questions about the mission." "What kind of questions?" "They want to know if termination is really necessary, if there might be alternatives." Admiral Kale had never heard of such a thing. Forthek warriors did not question orders. They certainly did not question the wisdom of the Confederation Council. "Put me through to the entire fleet," he ordered. When the connection was established, Admiral Kale addressed his crews. "This is Admiral Kale. We are minutes away from termination. I know some of you have developed communications with the humans, but we have our orders. The humans are expansionist and dangerous. They must be eliminated." "Sir," came a voice from one of his ships. "With respect, they don't seem dangerous. They seem curious and friendly." "They gave me recipes for food to cook for my younglings," said another voice. "Food that uses ingredients from their world and mine. One of them helped me solve a technical problem with our shield generators," said a third. "He worked on it for free just because he was interested in the science." Admiral Kale realized that his fleet was in near rebellion. Not the angry, violent rebellion of conquered enemies, but the quiet rebellion of soldiers who no longer believed in their mission. 5 minutes to termination, the weapons officer announced. On Unity Station, Dr. Una Park was watching the alien fleet through her telescope. "Something's happening," she told Captain Minho Kim. "Their weapons aren't charging." "What do you mean?" "I've been studying their ships for 3 days. When they prepare to fire their planet killers, there should be energy buildups, heat signatures, power routing to weapon systems. I'm not seeing any of that, so what are they doing? I think they're having a meeting." She was right. Aboard Admiral Kale's command ship, an emergency conference was taking place. Representatives from every ship in the fleet were participating, which was unprecedented in Confederation military history. Admiral, said Sub-Commander Zeth, who had spent the night talking to Captain Yoonji Han. I request permission to speak freely. Granted. I don't think we can complete this mission. Murmurs of agreement came from across the fleet. Admiral Kale felt his world shifting beneath his feet. Explain your reasoning, Sub-Commander. Sir, we've been trained to terminate species that pose a threat to galactic stability. Aggressive species, warlike species, species that conquer and destroy. But these humans, they're not like that. They have expanded beyond their home system. So have we, sir. So has every spacefaring species. The humans expand to explore, to learn, to experience new things. They don't expand to conquer. Another officer joined the conversation. Sir, in 3 days of contact, not one human has threatened us, insulted us, or tried to harm us. They've offered us food, friendship, and cultural exchange, even knowing we plan to kill them. They've shown us pictures of their families, said another. They've asked about our families. They've treated us like friends. Admiral Kale looked at the countdown timer. 2 minutes to termination. His entire career, his whole understanding of the universe was built on the idea that different species were naturally enemies. That expansion led to conflict, that contact led to war, but the humans had proved that wrong. They had shown that different could mean interesting instead of dangerous. That expansion could be about curiosity instead of conquest. 1 minute to termination, the weapons officer said, but his voice was quiet, reluctant. Admiral Kale made a decision that would change galactic history. All ships, he commanded, stand down from termination. Repeat, stand down from termination. The silence that followed was absolute. In the background, he could hear the humans celebrating as they realized the weapons were not going to fire. Admiral, his communication officer said, the Confederation Council is demanding an explanation. Tell them, Admiral Kale said slowly, that we have encountered a species that requires further study. Tell them that termination is postponed pending a full cultural and threat assessment. And how long will this assessment take? Admiral Kale looked out at the human ships, still broadcasting their welcome messages, still offering friendship to the beings who had planned to destroy them. I think, he said, it might take a very long time. 6 months later, Dr. Una Park stood in her new office at the Galactic Confederation Embassy on Earth. Through her window, she could see human and alien children playing together in the embassy gardens. The little girl Minji was teaching a young Vorthak how to play hopscotch. Ambassador Park, her assistant said, Admiral Kale is here for your meeting. The former admiral, now serving as a cultural exchange coordinator, entered the office. He had resigned his military position after refusing to terminate 3 more species, each time citing insufficient evidence of threat. How are the preparations going? He asked. Very well, Dr. Park replied. The Zephyrian Empire won't know what hit them. And by what hit them, you mean friendship packages, cultural exchange programs, welcome parties, and about 10,000 humans who are incredibly excited to meet their second alien species. Dr. Park grinned. We've been practicing. Admiral Kale made a sound that might have been laughter. The Confederation Council still doesn't understand what happened here. Do you? I think so. You didn't defeat us with weapons or technology. You defeated us with something much more powerful, which is, you showed us that being different doesn't have to mean being enemies. That expansion doesn't have to mean conquest. That the universe is big enough for all kinds of species to explore and grow and learn from each other. Dr. Park nodded. And now we're going to teach other species the same thing. The humans have become a force for peace in the galaxy, Admiral Kale observed. By refusing to be afraid, by choosing curiosity over hostility, by treating potential enemies as potential friends. Is that so strange? For most species, yes. But maybe that's what makes humans special. You don't see differences as threats. You see them as opportunities. Through the window, they watched as little Minji successfully taught the young alien to hopscotch. The Vorthak child was laughing, a sound that had never been heard on their homeworld before they met humans. Admiral, Dr. Park said, I have a question for you. Yes? Next time we encounter a species that's scheduled for termination, and we want to throw them a welcome party instead. Would Tuesday be better than Monday? Admiral Kale's expression, as close as a Vorthak could come to a smile, suggested that he was beginning to understand human humor. Ambassador, he said, I think any day is a good day to make new friends. And across the galaxy, The strangest military strategy in history continued to spread. The complete conquest of hearts.